escapism in film.
Escapism
in film. Get
well,
away from reality.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
What do I think about it? I think it's a valid observation. I agree.
Fully?
I'm not sure if I fully agree with it. I'm gonna base it on films that have been coming out as of late. Okay. Purely entertainment, obviously. You know, they're gonna put out some boring shit in the theater, right? They got to be entertained. But there's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between what the film is actually showing. Okay. Is it based in reality, or is it based on some sort of thing that caters to the audience? And that's why the audience wants to go see that movie, escape from reality.
Yeah.
Okay. As opposed to maybe independent films that have
that kind of sounds like a good name for a movie, actually. Escape from reality. Like Escape from LA or something.
Stay tuned. It's coming 2021. And independent films, foreign films or something like that, have a specific niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a niche, if you want, however you want to say it. That doesn't really cater to the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking too much. Leo, what do you think?
What's the question, though?
What's the question? What is the question? Do you think there's too much of an escapism structure in today's films to the point where it's just the films are being pumped out into the system? It's just too far away from reality.
When it comes to escapism, I feel like the studio system is really just creating what people want, or what they think people want. Because, okay, so they make Avengers and 1 billion people go and watch it. So, of course, they're going to keep pumping out more shit like that. Doesn't necessarily have to be good. As long as they can sell you with the trailer, you're in. And that's another escapism. That's another form of escapism, the trailer. But I really think that art isn't really dying in that sense, but more so being tapered to American audiences, and even they're turning the rest of the world really into an American audience. See, if you go to the UK, or you see films from the UK or like Korea or something like that, they're slowly like inching towards a more Americanized version because it just makes more money. That's all it is. It's all about money. But in reality, in our reality, we're watching movies thinking like this shit's reality. You know what I mean? And it's not. And so we're left without movies like actual cinema that speaks about human experience, or human the human experience. And so people kind of get lost in this like fictional reality and have no appreciation for what they should be worried about in their own lives. You know, like back in the 70s or 80s or whatever, even now, some people make movies where if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna come out learning something from it. You're gonna come out like with a new sense of understanding your own life. And that's kind of hard to find in the studio system, or even going to the theater. You'd have to go like to a really like niche like theater that just like plays independent movies or something like that, or subscribe to a streaming service that plays that kind of stuff. And our generation and the new generations to come are already ingrained with this kind of hyper-realism, kind of escapism, to where they don't want to watch reality anymore. They don't even know what it is. They don't want to know what it is.
Right.
So I mean, how do you fight that?
Yeah.
How do you change it up? How do you get somebody to want to watch shit like that?
Right. So, I don't know. I mean, is there really an issue with people doing that. Look, I'll give you an example.
That's the thing is there is no issue.
There is
only people like me people that are questioning it, like me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I'm better or anything like that. I'm just saying that some people question like why Hollywood is doing stuff like that, and the majority of people don't. The majority of people are paying to go see these movies. That's why they keep making them, because it's a majority vote, really.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, those are kind of like, it's like your standards. You value cinema pretty high. You have high expectations. I know you have high expectations when films come out. Very critical. But to the general audience, they're like, so what? Like, I want to go buy a movie ticket or whatever, sit down, watch Netflix, watch a movie that's going to entertain me. I don't care if it's...
True, but you come out with nothing.
You come out with nothing. So that's...
You go in with nothing and you come out with nothing. You're not losing, but you're not gaining.
Right.
So, in the past, if you were to go see like 2001 Space Odyssey, or The Exorcist, or fucking even Star Wars when it first started, there was something that you brought out of the theater with you, like something new, an experience that you learned. Like, who the fuck knew what the Force was when Star Wars started? It was more so faith. It was a belief that you can do something if you actually believe in it, if you actually work hard for it. Things like that. There was like almost, it was deeper in a sense. There was a meaning to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of things there isn't. Even the Exorcist.
Yeah.
The Exorcist takes you through this like horrific story of a little girl that gets possessed, but at the end she's saved. She makes it out. It wasn't like now, like every single horror movie has to end on a down note. You know what I mean? Just to kind of keep you going. Oh, maybe we're gonna make a part 2. Yeah. The Exorcist, even though it had sequels to it, it could have just been a standalone movie, because at the end the evil was destroyed. There was a resolution to the movie. There was a resolution, and that has a message in itself. And I really think that now it's just like, how much money can we make off of this idea? Like, can I make this movie and then make like 5 others just like it, like after that? So they're not really thinking about the message. They're just thinking about like, really not even that much of the story either. They're thinking about the money. Right.
The entertainment value is the people are the people gonna like this or not?
Yeah, you know? And the people that are in charge really are the ones that are making these choices. But at the same time, you can't really blame them because that's their job.
Yeah. You know, I do have to agree. I do prefer films that make me think throughout the movie, and make me think even more afterwards. The conclusion of it, you know.
But you, even yourself, you were saying how. Were you saying that the Joker was kind of slow? You were telling me the other day that you felt like the Joker was slow.
It was slow.
To you.
Yeah.
To me, it was like a normal movie. Because I've seen even slower. I've seen movies that people would like literally consider boring, and I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a sense of taste. But because when I go into a movie, I'm not trying to have expectations of what it's gonna be, or me, like, because if you have expectations, that means you want to know already what's gonna happen. You want to believe that you know already, I'm going to this movie, this is gonna happen. That's when you don't learn shit. That's when you don't get anything out of it. If you go into a movie with 0 expectations and you actually pay attention, instead of thinking, oh my god, the pacing is so slow, or so, like, when you start paying attention to that, instead you're not paying attention to the message that somebody like spent a year or years crafting to put on screen for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that's deep and meaningful to them. So you go in there like, well, when I go in there with 0 expectation, and I'll see what I can get out of it, because it's your time. It's your time. You're using up 2-3 hours of your time to go watch something that you'll never get back. So might as well get something out of it.
Majority of the time, I do want to go into a theater or into a movie, whether it be at home or in theater, without knowing too much about it, as far as I'll just watch the trailer or teaser, and that is it. Like when the Joker came out, and there was feedback. I mean, there was a comments, a posts on Facebook and stuff. Like people already signed. I was like, dude, I would just like scroll down, whatever. I didn't want to read it. I didn't want to read it. So in a way, I did go in fresh, watching the Joker. And you bring up a good point. You know, to you, the Joker was a perfect pace. To me, it was slow. But then again, you said that you watched films that were even slower, and so there, you know, you have this kind of wide range of like different that you've seen films that had different paces and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
and that goes back to like the fact that escapism is kind of like creating this sense of hurry up.
Ah,
you know
okay,
I mean?
I see. Yeah, right.
So if there was more films that were slow or a slower pace, like The Joker to you, or even slower than that, and those were mainstream movies, then people would be used to them. People would not go in and thinking, oh shit, this is boring. They'd actually pay attention.
Right.
But if you get used to watching a movie that every single like scene or every single shot lasts about 2 seconds, anything more than that is gonna feel like a long movie. If I give you a shot list and every shot is 2 seconds long, but then I throw in all of a sudden halfway through the movie, every shot gets to be 5 seconds long, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel like, whoa, shit, what just happened? Like, the movie just got slow all of a sudden. It started sucking. Like, something will feel weird.
That's definitely a very good observation, because, I mean, sort of related to film in a way, but, you know, when you watch a YouTube video, usually YouTube videos are like 5-10 minute long, you know, clips. You might find one that's maybe 20-30 minutes, but other than that, that's it. Like, people don't make longer YouTube clips.
Yeah, because they can't keep people's attention.
Right, there's just boom, they kind of zone out, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So
unless it's extremely like interesting, but even then.
Right, so it's sort of like that in films nowadays. It's like with the, you know what I also noticed, like a lot of films have a lot of different angles when they shoot a scene.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of angles, and it's like, oh my god.
Instead of just one.
Right.
One angle.
But you know that goes back to the whole point. It kind of keeps the ball rolling. All those different types of angles and how long the scene lasts and stuff like that.
Definitely.
I mean, when you watch like I don't know, maybe like a Quentin Tarantino movie, right? All his shots are like hella long, right? And not much.
I mean, they're not crazy long, but
no,
to the
not.
American audience, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you saw Birdman, but Birdman is one continuous shot, or at least made to look like one continuous shot. But there's so much going on all the time. The camera is always moving non-stop, even though it is just one shot. It's constantly giving you new information as the camera moves. But like, let's say there's a movie called Hunger by Steve McQueen, and it has one of the longest static shots in like movie history, and it's just a priest talking to an inmate, and it lasts 25 minutes.
Jesus.
It's a 25-minute shot, and they're just talking there. But when at this point in the movie, you're already so invested that you're actually paying attention. If you are invested, if by that point in time you're invested in the movie, you're paying attention. You don't even notice how long that shot is.
True.
I could be wrong about the 25 minutes, but it's around that
but
time frame.
I mean, it's just like a conversation, right? When you're having a conversation with someone and the conversation is like so deep, you're so interested in the conversation, and then you're like, holy shit, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like hours just went by. You're so interested. And it's the same way like in scenes or film. You know what, Easy Rider, I don't know if you can they see Easy Rider poster right here? Okay. Anyways, he has an Easy Rider poster right here. Easy Riders like that, a lot of the scenes are
well, because it's like, look at when it was made, dude. Like 70s. 70s. I mean, even mainstream movies. I mean, that was the style. I mean, that was an indie movie, but it was also pretty mainstream at one point. But that was so like the people from the 70s, Martin Scorsese and stuff like that, when he was barely starting out, the only people he had to look up to were the older directors. One of his favorite directors was Akira Kurosawa. And I mean, even though his movies at the time were kind of felt fast-paced for the people then, it's extremely slow for us now. Like if you see Kurosawa's like movies now, they're pretty slow, at least to today's standards. And that's the kind of director that somebody like Scorsese was looking up to. So they would kind of formulate their movies to kind of go in that same pace. And then slowly but surely, they started picking up the pace, and then more people after them would pick up the pace. And then now we're at this point right now where everything's like back there.
Yeah, that was my next thing. Like, when did it start changing?
I think actually, like, the blockbuster, the introduction of the blockbuster, like Star Wars. Star Wars started it all, really.
Really?
Started the whole revolution of making money, like hardcore money, real money, through cinema by selling like toys and all that shit. Like they never sold toys out of fucking movies, but Star Wars started that. And who was Star Wars marketing to? Kids or teenagers. I mean, even though adults would go watch it, but it was like teens and little kids were watching Star Wars. And so a kid's mind is going to be way quicker. It's going to need quicker stimulus.
That's right. So
they're making these movies faster and faster and noticing, okay, we're making more money with this formula. Yeah. And so they start making all movies like that, or at least try to. They start trying to, especially the American model. The American way of making movies got faster because that's how they can make the most money. You know what I mean? And in turn, they can make a movie that's even shorter. Back then, you'd have like movies that were 2 hours long, 3 hours long. Now, most movies are 90 minutes long, like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you'll go and watch a movie that's like 2 hours long or even 3, which is crazy. I mean, I saw It. That was the new It. Was 3 hours long.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was horrible. Like I couldn't stand it. But because it felt like they were trying to keep this fast pace through a 3 hour movie, and it becomes exhausting almost because you're just like, this is going nowhere.
Right. Now, I'm curious to see, like, I wonder how our brains, our minds have changed over the years when we go watch cinema now. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I wonder if now when we go to watch a movie, our brains are like, as of a kid, you know, as a child, or our attention span is you know, can't handle it. Yeah. Can't handle it, right? I wonder if that's, you know, I mean, I'm no scientist or anything, but I wonder if it has come to that point. It seems like it, right?
Well, try and show a kid, like, I don't know if you have like a nephew or a just like a kid that you know, try and show them like a movie that's black and white. That would be freaking hard as shit.
Where's the color, baby?
Exactly. They'll be like, what's wrong with the TV? You know what I mean? If you try and show a kid a black and white movie, it'll be extremely difficult. You can even show them a new movie that's in black and white, and it'd still be difficult.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to having that color already. And they can't even pay attention. That goes the same with kids. If you show them a movie and it's one shot for 25 minutes, they're not paying attention. They don't give a shit. Yeah. It's not about the story to them because they have zero life experience. So what are they paying attention to? They want action. They want movement.
Right.
So I think now we kind of have to accept the fact that this is the world we live in now, of this fast-paced environment. But that doesn't mean we can't create something meaningful and something that's full of art and asks hard questions, like existential questions or philosophical questions. We can still do that with any medium, with any way, like whether you're you have a painting that is Jackson Pollock or a Da Vinci. You know what I mean? Two different, complete different styles, separated by hundreds of years, but there's still something deep inside that.
Yeah.
Even if like it's chaotic, just like now movies. Even through the chaos, you can create something that's meaningful. And I think that's one thing that if art wants to survive in that kind of medium, in like media and in movies in general, or even TV shows, whatever, which TV shows actually do a lot better about keeping things like that, but because they have a longer time to basically explain a story to, so they can kind of dig deeper into the characters. But I really think that writers and filmmakers in general just need to understand that they have this responsibility. Even though people say the artist is the artist and they have no responsibility to anybody but themselves. Wrong. Because art is one giant responsibility. It's what keeps humanity going. So I feel like if the artist really thinks about it, they can kind of almost change the world if they have that big of a reach. If they know how to do it, if they know what to say. You know what I mean? If they make an Oscar-winning movie that has like something deep to say, they're gonna change somebody's life.
Yeah.
They're gonna change somebody. Somebody's gonna watch that movie and be like, okay, now I understand the world. You know what I mean? And it's not just gonna be one. If there's one, there's two. If there's two, there's 10. You know what I mean? It can change a whole bunch of people if you know how to use it responsibly.
Why do you think people don't want to delve into philosophical questions about mortality, maybe, or questions about existential things? You know, because I know a lot of people.
Because people get mad.
They don't want. Yeah,
they don't want to know.
They don't want to talk about that kind of stuff.
That's the reason for escapism. Because you don't have to ask hard questions.
Sorry, what happened to Jon Snow's blade, bro? Come on. Was it White Fang? What's the name of the sword? Fang? Tooth? White Tooth?
I forgot what it's called.
It's sorry, Jon Snow. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
God damn it. Where was I?